Have you ever wondered why you've been feeling stuck and powerless your entire life? Today, we'll uncover the secret to unlocking your true potential and reclaiming your sovereignty over your energy field. You're about to discover that everything you've experienced has been preparing you for this moment, and that the quantum password is the key to unlocking your dormant power. The universe was created with a specific purpose in mind, to give each individual the gift of free will and creative potential. However, our society has conditioned us to believe that we're powerless and at the mercy of external circumstances. But what if I told you that this isn't true? What if I showed you that there's a way to tap into the quantum field and access the limitless energy that's been available to you all along? Imagine a moment when everything you believed suddenly shifted and you realized that your power wasn't limited by external circumstances. You'd feel a sense of freedom and empowerment that you've never experienced before. This isn't just a fantasy, it's a reality that's waiting for you to access. What if I told you that there's a phrase, a password, that unlocks this dormant energy within you? A phrase that has the power to change your life forever. You're about to discover what this phrase is and how to use it to reclaim your sovereignty over your energy field. You've probably experienced moments in your life when you felt like you had more power than usual. Maybe you felt confident, positive, or even unstoppable. Those weren't flukes, they were times when your energy field spontaneously activated. You're about to learn how to create this state consciously and sustainably, instead of waiting for it to happen accidentally. You've probably also experienced moments when your no changed everything, when you said no to something that felt wrong and the entire situation shifted. That wasn't assertiveness skills, that was your energy field activating briefly. You're about to learn how to maintain clear boundaries around your own energy space, so that you can say no without apology. You've probably also experienced moments of energy drain, when being around certain people or in certain situations made you feel like you were losing your life force. This wasn't just tiredness, it was energetic vampirism. You're about to learn how to protect yourself from this and maintain a strong, healthy energy field. You've probably also had experiences where you knew what someone was going to say before they said it, or sensed their intention before they revealed it. These weren't psychic abilities, they were times when your energy field temporarily activated enough to read the information that's always present in other people's fields. You're about to learn how to do this consciously and sustainably. You've probably also had experiences where your presence shifted a room. When you entered spaces with tension or negativity, and your mere presence changed the energy, this wasn't just confidence, it was your energy field activating enough to impact the environment around you. You're about to learn how to create this state consciously and sustainably. And finally, you've probably had moments when you knew that you were supposed to be powerful. That persistent sense that the life you're living and the power you're expressing don't match who you actually are. This is because something in you is locked, suppressed, or held back. You're about to learn how to unlock this potential and reclaim your sovereignty over your energy field. You've been through all of these experiences for a reason. Every moment you felt helpless, every situation where you couldn't set boundaries, every experience of being drained or controlled was teaching you to recognize the difference between false power and true power. And that distinction is essential before you can safely activate the quantum password and reclaim your energy field. Most people chase false power their entire lives. Power through dominance, manipulation, accumulation of money, status, influence over others. But these are compensations for feeling powerless at energetic level. Attempts to create external power structures because internal power source is blocked. False power requires constant maintenance. It creates enemies, it breeds paranoia, and collapses the moment external circumstances shift. True power, the power you're about to reclaim through the quantum password, is completely different. It doesn't come from controlling others, it comes from sovereignty over your own energy field. It doesn't require external validation, it's self-sustaining. Because it flows from your connection to quantum field itself, it doesn't create resistance. Because it doesn't impose on anyone, it simply maintains clear boundaries around your own energy space. The painful experiences you've survived, the times you were controlled, drained, violated, dismissed, weren't teaching you to build false power structures to protect yourself. They were teaching you to recognize that you gave your power away. You allowed boundaries to be crossed. You surrendered sovereignty over your own field. And now you're ready to take it back. Not through fighting, not through resisting, but through conscious reclamation. Every time someone drained your energy and you felt depleted afterward, you learned that your field has holes. Your boundaries aren't holding. Something in you is allowing this extraction. You must clear this conditioning before true power can activate. Every time you tried to say no, but guilt or fear stopped you, you learned that you're conditioned to prioritize others' comfort over your own sovereignty. This conditioning must be cleared before true power can activate. Every time circumstances crushed you and you felt powerless to change them, you learned that you're treating reality as something happening to you rather than recognizing that your consciousness interacting with reality through your energy field. That misunderstanding of your relationship with reality must be corrected before you can consciously work with quantum field through activated power state. The intensity of your suffering was directly proportional to the power waiting to be activated. Souls that came here to reclaim massive amounts of sovereign energy must first experience massive disempowerment, not as punishment, but as contrast that makes the reclamation meaningful and conscious. You couldn't appreciate true power without experiencing complete powerlessness. You couldn't value sovereignty without experiencing violation of boundaries. You couldn't recognize energy activation without experiencing energy depletion. Everything you've survived qualified you for this moment. The quantum password only works when spoken by consciousness that has learned through direct experience why power matters, what happens when it's given away, and what becomes possible when it's reclaimed. You're qualified now. Your preparation is complete, and you're about to receive the password that unlocks everything you've been moving toward through all the pain, all the lessons, all the growth that happened through the breaking. As you read these words, your energy field is already beginning to reorganize in preparation for receiving the quantum password. This isn't metaphor, it's a literal energetic process happening in real time. Your consciousness recognizing that activation is imminent triggers your energy body to start clearing blocks and opening circuits that have been dormant or suppressed for years, possibly your entire life. Can you feel it? Some of you are experiencing physical sensations, tingling at the base of spine or crown of head, warmth moving through your body, pressure in chest or solar plexus. Sudden emotional releases, tears, laughter, or waves of feeling you can't name. These aren't random, they're signs that your energy field is responding to the frequency of this transmission and preparing for the activation that speaking the password will complete. Others are experiencing mental shifts, sudden clarity about situations that were confusing, recognition of patterns. You've been blind to memories surfacing of moments when you gave your power away and didn't realize it at the time. This cognitive reorganization is part of the activation process. Your consciousness clearing the conditioning that kept power locked so that when the password is spoken, the unlocking will be permanent rather than temporary. Your energy field knows what's coming at quantum level. Information flows both directions through time. Your field has already experienced the state of full activation that occurs when you speak the password correctly. and that future state is reaching back to prepare present moment for the transition. The sensations, emotions, and insights you're experiencing right now are your future activated self beginning to merge with your present state. This is how quantum activation works. It's not a linear process where you learn information, then apply it, then eventually experience results. It's a quantum process where the end state reaches back and begins pulling present state toward it. The moment your consciousness becomes receptive. Your receptivity was proven the moment you clicked this video and the activation began. The moment you recognize truth in what's being shared. Some of you are also experiencing resistance. Doubt arising, fear emerging. This can't be real. This is too simple. I've tried everything and nothing worked. Why would this? Fear is emerging. What if I reclaim my power and people reject me? What if I lose relationships? What if I can't handle the responsibility? These thoughts aren't accidents, they're final defense mechanisms of the conditioning that has kept your power locked. The conditioning knows it's about to be dissolved, and it's making its last attempt to maintain control by creating doubt and fear. But notice the resistance is thought-based. The activation is sensation-based. Your mind is resisting. Your energy body is opening. This is normal, this is expected. And the password I'm about to give you works, regardless of whether your mind believes it will work, because the password operates at quantum field level, where belief is irrelevant and only intent and frequency matter. Are you ready? As you continue on this journey of self-discovery and empowerment, you may have noticed sensations rising within you, like tingling at the base of your spine or warmth moving through your body. These signs are not random, they're evidence that your energy field is responding to the frequency of this transmission and preparing for the activation that comes with speaking the quantum password. The sensations you feel, pressure in your chest, solar plexus, or sudden emotional releases are all part of the process. You may experience tears, laughter, or waves of feeling you can't quite put into words. Remember, these reactions are not just emotional, they're physical responses to the energy shifting within and around you. As your consciousness becomes receptive, you'll start to notice mental shifts as well. Sudden clarity about situations that once confused you will emerge, along with recognition of patterns you've been blind to until now. This cognitive reorganization is a key part of the activation process, clearing away conditioning that's kept power locked within you. Your energy field knows what's coming at the quantum level. Information flows both ways through time, and your field has already experienced the state of full activation that occurs when you speak the password correctly. That future state is reaching back to prepare your present moment for the transition. The sensations, emotions, and insights you're experiencing right now are actually your future activated self beginning to merge with your present state. This is how quantum activation works. It's not a linear process, but rather a quantum one where the end state begins pulling the present state toward it. Some of you may be experiencing resistance or doubt arising within. Fear, uncertainty, and self-doubt are natural responses when facing something new and unfamiliar. But remember that these thoughts are not accidents, they're last-ditch attempts by your conditioning to maintain control over you. Notice that this resistance is thought-based, whereas the activation process operates at a more fundamental level, sensation-based. Your mind may resist, but your energy body is opening up in response. This is completely normal and expected, as it's a natural part of the awakening process. The password I'm about to share with you works regardless of whether your mind believes it will be effective or not. It operates at the quantum field level where intent and frequency are all that matter, not belief or expectation. Stay with the sensations, stay with the opening within your energy field. Your energy field is preparing for activation. Circuits are activating. Blocks are dissolving, and in a few minutes, When you speak the password with full intent, this process will stabilize into a permanent shift in your power state. For some of you, speaking the quantum password may seem daunting or even unbelievable. But I want to share my own personal story with you, one that shows just how powerful this tool can be. 4 years ago, I was completely disempowered at every level, lacking confidence, exhausted constantly, drained by everyone around me. I felt like life was happening to me, and I was just trying to survive the impact. But one night, something within me broke. Not a breakdown, but a breakthrough disguised as breaking. I screamed out loud into the empty room. I want my power back, whatever had taken it. Whoever had it. I declared that I would take it back now, not as a request or prayer, but as a demand from the deepest part of my being. In the silence after that scream, something profound happened. A response formed in me, not just with words, but with a deeper sense that exists beyond normal perception. You never lost your power. I heard, you gave it away, and what you gave away, you can reclaim. That's when I knew I had to speak the password. The phrase that arose within me was simple yet powerful. I reclaim my power. When I spoke those words out loud with full intention, not as an affirmation or a wish, but as a sovereign declaration of what I was actively doing in that moment, something extraordinary happened. Energy surged through my body like electricity, and my entire being started shaking from the inside out. This was not just emotional, it was physical, a sign that my energy circuits were activating. Blocks were dissolving, and I was reclaiming power that had been lost for so long. The experience lasted maybe 2 minutes, but its impact was felt for months to come. The phrase "I reclaim my power" has become a powerful tool in my life, one that I've repeated countless times since then. And it's not just me who's experienced this transformation. Thousands of people around the world have spoken these words and seen real, tangible results in their lives. So what makes this password so effective? It works through 3 simultaneous mechanisms that operate at linguistic, neurological, and quantum field levels. Understanding how it works isn't necessary for it to work. You can speak the password without comprehension and still experience activation. However, understanding deepens the effect and helps you use the password consciously as an ongoing practice, rather than a one-time event. Let's dive into these mechanisms in more detail. Starting with linguistic frequency generation. Words are not just communication tools, they carry specific vibrational signatures that affect our energy fields when spoken. The words power and reclaim generate high-frequency activation patterns when combined with the anchor word I. When you speak the password, you're generating a compound frequency that matches the energetic state of an activated sovereign self. This is not just theory. Dr. Masaru Emoto's water crystal experiments prove that words affect physical structure at molecular level. Positive words create coherent, beautiful crystals, while negative words create chaotic, distorted structures. Our bodies are made up of 60-70 water, so when we speak the password, we're literally restructuring our cellular makeup to support a power state, rather than a disempowered one. This is not metaphor, it's measurable physical transformation occurring through linguistic frequency. As you continue on this journey of self-discovery and empowerment, remember that your words have the power to shape reality itself, not just at an emotional level, but at a fundamental, energetic one as well. The second mechanism by which the password works is neurological pattern interruption and rewiring. Our brains have been conditioned through repetition to maintain disempowered states as normal. Every time we felt guilty for saying no or gave our power away to others, neural pathways strengthened in response. But when you speak the quantum password with full intent, you're interrupting those patterns. The declaration contradicts conditioning and activates different neural pathways that have been dormant or suppressed, but carried a power state before conditioning covered them. Neuroscience calls this neuroplasticity, our brain's ability to create new pathways and weaken old ones through focused repetition. Each time you speak the password, you're weakening the neural pathways of powerlessness and strengthening those of sovereignty. The third mechanism by which the password works is quantum field collapse into a sovereign state. Your energy field exists as a quantum probability field containing infinite possible states. Victim state, survivor state, empowered state, sovereign state, all exist simultaneously until your consciousness collapses the field into a specific manifestation through where you place attention and intention. When you speak the password with conscious intent, you're collapsing your probability field into a sovereign empowered state. You're not creating power that doesn't exist, you're activating power that exists as quantum potential but hasn't been manifesting because your consciousness hasn't been focused on claiming it. This is where the HeartMath Institute's research on electromagnetic fields comes in, measuring the electromagnetic field generated by the human heart, extending up to 8-10 feet beyond our physical bodies. That field carries information and affects other fields around us. When you declare, "I reclaim my power," your heart field reorganizes to match the sovereign frequency. This reorganization affects the quantum field itself, collapsing probabilities that align with empowerment and dissolving those that align with powerlessness. This understanding of how reality interacts with our consciousness is ancient knowledge, Hermetic tradition's teaching of as within, so without, or as above, so below. Your internal state creates your external reality. It's not just mental, it's energetic. When you change your energy field through speaking the quantum password, external reality reorganizes to match the new field configuration. And that's exactly what's happening for thousands of people around the world who have spoken these words and seen real transformation in their lives. As you prepare to reclaim your power, remember that your brain has been conditioned through repetition to maintain a disempowered state as normal. Every time you felt guilty for saying no, neural pathways strengthened, convincing you that setting boundaries equals danger. Avoid it at all costs. This pattern of behavior is not just mental, it's also physical, with every time you gave your power away to keep the peace. Neural pathways strengthened even further, perpetuating a cycle of powerlessness as safety. These patterns are literal physical structures in your brain, determining your default state and influencing everything from your decisions to your relationships. But here's the good news. You have the ability to rewrite this script by activating new neural pathways through focused repetition. When you speak the quantum password with conscious intent, you're not just using words, you're creating a new language that rewires your brain and activates dormant pathways of power and sovereignty. This is the magic of neuroplasticity, where your brain's ability to create new connections and weaken old ones allows for permanent change. As you begin this journey, pay attention to 8 signs that indicate your power is activating. Physical sensations like tingling or warmth in specific areas of your body, sudden emotional releases like tears or laughter without a clear reason, memories surfacing about times when you gave away your power, clarity about current situations, and the recognition of patterns that decrease in doubt, and then going to inserting and more more. With each sign, know that your energy field is expanding and your sovereignty is growing. Now, it's time to use the quantum password for maximum activation and permanent reclamation of your power. This isn't just about speaking 3 words, it's a conscious ritual that engages your entire being in the process. Follow this protocol exactly the first time you use the password. Acknowledge what you gave away by asking yourself who you surrendered your power to, under what circumstances, and with which beliefs. Make a sovereign decision to reclaim your power, stating internally with conviction, "I am taking back what I gave away. I am reclaiming my sovereignty. I am activating my power." Then, Speak the quantum password out loud 3 times, each time with increasing conviction. Followed by the full version, I reclaim my power. I call back all energy that belongs to me from every person, place, and time I gave it away. I release all energy that doesn't belong to me. I activate my sovereign field. Seal the activation with 3 deep breaths, breathing in power and out anything that's not yours, followed by 3 5-minutes of complete silence as your energy body reorganizes and old patterns dissolve. Give this process space to complete without interference. After the silence, speak one more declaration out loud. I commit to maintaining this activation. I commit to honoring my boundaries. I commit to being responsible steward of my reclaimed power. This commitment anchors the activation so it becomes permanent rather than temporary. Remember, your preparation is complete, and your field is ready for immediate shift. Maintaining that activation requires daily practice. Just 2 to 3 minutes each morning speaking the password and reaffirming your sovereignty. As you do this consistently, specific changes occur that compound over time until your entire life has reorganized around your reclaimed power. Your decision-making transforms as you trust your intuition more and become decisive without external validation. Energy drain stops, and people notice a change in your confidence. Is not the issue, it's sovereignty. You're no longer seeking permission to be yourself or make choices that align with your true nature. As you continue on this journey of reclaiming your power, it's essential to understand that the quantum password is not just a special practice available to certain individuals, but rather a key that unlocks what was never actually gone: your inherent sovereignty. Your power was never taken from you, you gave it away consciously or unconsciously, and now you're reclaiming it. The process of activating your sovereign field may seem like magic, but it's not something supernatural. It's a natural response to the truth that you are powerful by nature. Before conditioning taught you otherwise, you were a sovereign being inhabiting a sovereign field, with no doubt about your right to have needs met and express wants without guilt. But as conditioning happened, you learned to suppress your power. Setting boundaries created conflict. Demanding what you needed was selfish, and saying no made you bad. You began to give your power away to parents, teachers, society, expectations, and others' comfort being more important than your sovereignty. However, here's the crucial thing. Even as you learned to suppress your power, it never disappeared, it went dormant, buried deep within you, waiting every moment of your life for permission to re-emerge. The quantum password is simply a statement of truth that unlocks what was always yours: your natural abilities, your inherent power. You don't need to become someone new to access this power. You just need to remember who you were before you learned to be small. You don't need external permission or validation. You need internal decision to take back what's yours. The quantum password "I reclaim my power" works because it's a declaration of truth, not a claim of something that's not yours. Reclaiming your power is not just about transforming your individual life, but participating in a collective shift happening right now across the entire species. Human consciousness is evolving from disempowered collectives operating from fear and scarcity to empowered collectives operating from sovereignty and abundance. Every individual who activates their power contributes to a morphic field that makes activation easier for everyone who follows. Morphic resonance is a quantum field phenomenon where patterns established by one consciousness become more easily accessible to all consciousness entangled with that field. As you speak the password, you strengthen this pattern of sovereignty in the morphic field. You demonstrate that empowerment is possible, and your activated field affects those around you: your children, family, friends, colleagues. Even those who don't consciously understand what changed will feel the shift in the field. You become a transmission point just by being powerfully yourself, illuminating paths for others and cracking conditioning in everyone connected to you. When one person reclaims sovereignty, it becomes more imaginable for the collective. And if enough humans reclaim their power, entire systems built on collective disempowerment will collapse. Control systems require people who doubt their own authority and defer to external power. When you activate sovereignty and stop giving power away, you become ungovernable. Not through rebellion, but through simple recognition that your sovereign being doesn't need permission to exist powerfully. When critical mass of humans reaches this recognition, human civilization will transform, not through violent revolution but through natural reorganization. Systems based on control can't function. When the population is sovereign, new systems emerge that honor individual power instead of suppressing it. Collective evolution happens as more and more people reclaim their sovereignty, contributing to a morphic field that makes activation easier for everyone who follows. Your journey of reclaiming power is not just about personal transformation, but about participating in this collective shift, shaping the future of human civilization. You don't need to become someone new to access this power. You just need to remember who you were before you learned to be small. You've been living in a state of conditional existence, constantly seeking external validation and permission. But that's not who you truly are. You have natural abilities that were suppressed by societal conditioning, and it's time to reclaim them. Remember, you don't need supernatural abilities, you just need to tap into the power that was always within you. The quantum password "I reclaim my power" is a statement of truth, not a claim or a demand for something that doesn't belong to you. It's about acknowledging and accepting your true nature as a sovereign being with absolute authority over your energy. By using this password, you're not taking something from someone else. You're simply recognizing what's already yours. When you reclaim your power through the quantum password, reality responds by reorganizing the quantum field, allowing energy to flow freely and activating your inner potential. This isn't about magic or supernatural intervention. It's about simple recognition of your inherent sovereignty. You're not just transforming your individual life. When you activate your power, you're participating in a collective shift that's happening right now across entire species. Human consciousness is evolving from a disempowered collective operating from fear and scarcity to an empowered collective operating from sovereignty and abundance. Every individual who activates their power contributes to the morphic field, making it easier for others to follow. Morphic resonance is a quantum phenomenon where patterns established by one consciousness become more easily accessible to all consciousness entangled with that field. The first person to reclaim their power breaks through conditioning, faces fears, and dissolves blocks, while subsequent individuals find it significantly easier due to the morphic field's influence. You're not just reclaiming your own power, you're creating a pathway for others to follow. Every time you speak the quantum password, you strengthen the morphic field pattern of sovereignty, making it more accessible to those around you. By maintaining boundaries and refusing to give away your power, you demonstrate that empowerment is possible, making it easier for others to recognize their own sovereignty. As you activate your power, those entangled with you, your children, family, friends, colleagues will feel the shift in the field around you. Even if they don't consciously understand what's changed, many of them may begin their own reclamation process simply by being connected to your sovereign energy. You become a transmission point just by being powerfully yourself. This phenomenon is ancient and has been spoken about in teachings across various cultures. When one person in a community awakens, their light illuminates the path for others. When one person breaks free from conditioning, cracks appear in the conditioning of everyone connected to them. By reclaiming sovereignty, you make it more imaginable for the collective. You're not just healing yourself, you're healing your ancestral line, family system, and the collective wound of powerlessness. Consider the implications. If enough humans reclaim their power, entire systems built on collective disempowerment will collapse. Control systems rely on people doubting their own authority and deferring to external power. When you activate sovereignty and stop giving away your power, you become ungovernable, not through rebellion, but through simple recognition of your sovereign being who doesn't need permission to exist powerfully. When a critical mass of humans reaches this recognition, human civilization will transform naturally, without violent revolution, as systems based on control collapse. New systems emerge that honor individual power rather than suppressing it. Collective evolution happens when the population becomes sovereign. You're not just one person reclaiming power, you're part of a wave of consciousness awakening to sovereignty, and your activation contributes to collective evolution in ways you may never see directly, but are absolutely real and essential. You're doing this for everyone who comes after you, everyone connected to you, and everyone who will find it easier because you did it first. Write these words now. I serve the awakening. Everything converges here: understanding, recognition, and activation. Now that you've activated your power, it's essential to maintain what you've achieved through a daily practice that locks in your sovereignty. The morning power protocol is simple. Stand with feet shoulder width apart, spine straight. Place one hand on heart and one hand on lower abdomen. Take 3 deep breaths, breathing in power and out powerlessness. Then speak the quantum password out loud. I reclaim my power. I call back all energy that belongs to me. I release all energy that doesn't belong to me. And I activate my sovereign field. Repeat this 3 times, feeling energy respond in your body with each repetition. Finally, make a sovereign declaration. Today I maintain my boundaries. Today I honor my needs. And today I operate from power. Throughout the day, you'll need to check in with yourself using the 60-second power check-in at mid-morning, midday, and late afternoon. Place your hand on heart and ask if you're still in your power or have given it away. If you feel grounded, clear, and energized, maintain activation. If depleted, confused, or guilty about boundaries, speak the shortened password I reclaim my power now. In the evening, integrate your day with a 3-minute review of your experiences. Acknowledge moments when you maintained power successfully and notice those when you gave it away. What triggered these giveaways? Guilt, fear, old patterns. Finally, speak the quantum password one last time before sleep. I reclaim my power. I call back all energy that was given away today, and I reset my field to sovereignty. Spend 60 seconds in silence, feeling integration occur as your consciousness processes lessons from the day. Once a month, repeat the full morning protocol for a deeper reclamation. Acknowledge what you've given away. Check if new situations arose where power was surrendered. Speak the full quantum password and create silence for deeper activation. This practice prevents accumulation of small power leaks that aren't addressed in daily life. In case of an emergency, difficult conversation, violation of boundaries, energy drain, immediately restore sovereignty through a 2-minute practice. Find private space. Speak the password 3 times with conviction. Breathe power back in. And don't wait for your next daily check-in. Your investment in permanent transformation is just 10 minutes daily, plus occasional emergency restorations. The question isn't whether you have time, it's whether you're willing to prioritize your power over passive consumption, scrolling social media, watching endless videos, or engaging in other distractions that drain energy. After 90 days of consistent practice, maintenance becomes nearly automatic. Your field holds sovereignty naturally as old conditioning is rewired and boundaries operate without conscious effort. Power becomes your default state rather than something you have to remember to activate. Your commitment determines whether this becomes permanent transformation or temporary inspiration. You now know what you need to do. You have what you need to have the quantum password. Daily practice and emergency restorations. The only remaining question is, will you do the practice? Your power is yours. It's always been yours. And now it's time to take it back. Speak the password daily. Maintain the practice. Let your life reorganize around reclaimed sovereignty and watch everything transform. This is quantum reflex. This is activation of power that changes everything. You become ungovernable, unmanipulable, and unstoppable when you stop giving away what's yours and start operating from an activated state. Your power is waiting for you to reclaim it. Use the password daily and welcome to your sovereignty. Welcome to the life that becomes possible when you take back what's always been yours.